Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Kenya Revolutionary. I'll be here briefly just for a quick morning recap of what's going on. There's this subject that I want to really address today, and that is Ruto and the Kenya's criminal elite, or as we refer to them as the political class. Have they successfully neutralized the Gen Zs? Have they muzzled and uh, kind of subdued the Gen Z movement? I'll get to the reasons why I think Ruto, with the time that he has been afforded since Nane Nane and the previous Mandamanos, it's been, I think, what, 2 weeks or 3 weeks now? Uh, Kabuda is saying yes. Karibu sana Kabuda. Thank you so much. Please like the video. Yeah, so I'll give reasons why I think this movement, maybe they've successfully slowed it down if it's not dead yet, or maybe they just strategically, went after the faces of this movement and dealt with them, maybe through different ways. It can be jailing, bribing, all that stuff, which we're about to get into. And I will give you my take on that, giving the evidence, giving you the receipts on why I think this Gen Z movement, not only has it been infiltrated, but it has been neutered. Wamekata hiyo kitu kabisa. I'm not saying it's dead, because we are still going to have, there's still some people who are involved. There's a lot of young people who are very, very still tethered by what this government is doing. Karibu sana, Clean Black Sneakers. Nice seeing you. Kabuda, thank you so much also for being with us. So before I get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, you know the drill. Go ahead and subscribe. Here we talk about Kenyan politics, or Kenyan politics, as I say. Or if you haven't liked this video, please go ahead and like it. If you're already subscribed, please go ahead and like the video. That's the first order of business as usual. Yes, it's 9 a.m. It's 9 a.m. where I'm at too, so we're in the same time zone, kind of. Had to grab my coffee. Hey, I'm a PEMA, I have some duties, so that's why I have to come in early a little bit, okay? Oh, that coffee so good. But anyway, serious note. Let's get back to this. I want to quickly show you why I think Ruto's government has been quietly going for the faces and the movers and the mouthpieces of this Gen Z movement. And by doing so, it has kind of dented the morale of these young folks. Again, Gen Z movement is not just an age group. Gen Z movement is more than just Gen Zs. I mean, there's, Generation X, there's millennials there is baby boomers, there's everybody's involved. It's basically Kenyans who are not happy with the current state of the people who are voted or rigged themselves in to govern this state called Kenya. So people are expressing themselves by protest and all other means. And the whole movement, the young folks that organize and agonize through their social media and met up in the streets, are dubbed to or named as Gen Zs, because most of them appeared young. But it's not limited just to, it's not like you cannot be going out to protest if you are not Gen Z. Anybody is invited. That's why they call it Gen Zote. Okay? But anyway, let's get to it. There's a lot to go through, and I don't have a lot of time, but I will go through as much as I can. Now, I saw a bunch of things that were disturbing to me personally. I felt this is not right. Now, I want to start with this whole Jimmy Wanjigi thing. I mentioned before that I thought Jimmy Wanjigi, to me, it seems like this whole thing is being scripted. That was my initial thought. And I still kind of feel the same way too. I think there's something here that just doesn't smell right. Jimmy Wanjigi is a little bit too comfortable for somebody who's been handcuffed and arraigned, and his bail is was 10 million, and they took his guns. It's always his guns, okay? It's always his guns. Even when he was arrested under Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure, it was the same thing. They came to his house, tried to find him. He was not there. Then they grabbed his guns and stuff. So it's always the same thing, right? But I don't expect him to be, jailed or in prison for a long time. It's almost as if it's a public, it's a PR stunt to me. Because if you look at the members of his family, they don't seem that much traumatized or bothered or whatever the case is. He was laughing, smiling, greeting people, high-fiving. I mean, if I'm arrested, I'm not high-fiving anyone, okay? If I suspect that the government is coming for me, the President Ruto is coming for me, I will not be laughing in the camera. Yes, he made that statement saying, yes, Ruto, I'm coming for you. Who in their right mind will tell the president, I'm coming for you? Nobody says that, okay? So I still feel like this whole thing is kind of sketchy. But let's ride with the official story. The narrative here is the president is going after Jimmy Wanjigi because Jimmy Wanjigi admittedly said it on a camera on a certain podcast. I forgot which one. But he said clearly that he funded, he donated, he helped fund this Gen Z movement. Now, let's take a look at the Gen Z heads, the faces of this Gen Z movement, the mouthpieces, the people. I know Gen Zs are said to be tribeless, leaderless, orderless, whatever the case, nevertheless. But there have been the merging faces, the faces that are looked at as the mouthpiece of the organization, of the movement, sorry. And these guys, there seems to be causing it up with the political class, with majority of the politicians, with the politicians from both sides, which is a huge no-no for me. I mean, how would you feel if someone from the Gen Z movement, a mouthpiece, a leading figure, not their leader, but one of their faces of this movement, meets up with Ruto? And now, what I'm trying to refer to is there's this other girl. I forgot her name. She's from Eldoret. She's part of the, the faces of Gen Z. I saw her take a picture with Martha Karua. Casmwell, who I've told you that he strikes me, he's really suspicious. I do not trust this guy. I don't know why. He says all the right things, but I do not trust him, especially after his interview with Spice FM, where he started all this nonsense about, if you're going to make posters about Mandamano, we have to vet you. If you come with your ideas, you have to report to the collective. All this nonsense, as if people need to ask for permission from other groups before they go out there and Mandamano, which kind of, I did not agree with that. But anyway, nevertheless, Casmel is doing his rounds. To me, from day one, how he came out with his suits and giving speeches during the Mandamano, he struck me. Kabunde saying he's mentally ill. He struck me as somebody who has his own ambition, which is fine. You can have your own goal, your personal goal. And he said it. He hopes that he becomes a politician. He wants to be on the ballot. He wants to take a representative role in the future in government somewhere, okay? Which is perfectly fine. But to me, it seems like that is the driving force for him. It's not even about what the things he's talking about. Because now I can see he's rubbing shoulders with some characters that are not really people you want to be seen with in public. Especially if you're a Gen Z. If you claim to be a Gen Z, this revolutionary movement, why are you rubbing shoulders with the very politicians that we are trying to get out and get rid of ourselves of? Okay? That's my question. But let me read your comments, then I'll show you why and what Ruto is doing to neutralize, and how he's neutralizing is totally pacifying this whole Gen Z movement. Okay. So, Clean Black Sneakers is telling me, I really hate seeing this for Kenya and others under protest because of incompetent decisions regarding the people. Absolutely. Kabunda is saying, Kabuda anasema Caswell is mentally ill. I won't go that far, but no, he's not. I know you're being funny, but now the reason why I thought about this, I want you to walk you through this. Like the video if you haven't liked it. Please share, subscribe, comment, and do all that good stuff. But I want you to, let me just walk you through this. I want you to think carefully. Nilikwambia hapa we think deeply about what happens. And I will pose to you this question. Maybe you've realized it, maybe you haven't. But when Jimmy Wanjigi was arrested, it kind of hit me. I was thinking, why is this guy? Why are they coming for this? Of course, I know they're probably going for him. They're trying to intimidate him because he's the money man. Okay, he's the bag. He's the guy producing, Analipa V2 for the t-shirts and all that stuff for the organization. But the bigger question that I asked myself was this. Haven't you realized, okay? He is narcissistic. Okay, Kabuda. All right, yeah. We'll come to that. But here is what I thought. Haven't you realized this kind of, not trend, but it's a pattern? It's almost as if anyone that has a voice regarding this movement or speaking against this regime is either now friendly with the regime or members of this regime, or they're in trouble, or they're absolutely they're absolutely disinterested in politics. Think about it. When this movement started, okay? All right, I'm coming there. Think about it, okay? Let me walk you through this. Think about it. When this movement started, who are the faces of this movement? Boniface Mwangi, Hanefa, Cairo, whatever his name is, okay? Then later on, Caswell emerged as, this guy with the suits. We didn't know who he was. And all of a sudden, he started making rounds in the media. Okay? Then came Jimmy Wanjigi. Now, look at all of them where they are now. And there's this lady from, the young lady from Eldoret. Let me show you. I think it's better off to show you. And even before that, if you look at the voices, the funny guys at Jacaranda, look at what happened to them. Of course, they were all, the guys at Jacaranda were not pro-Gen Z, but they spoke very, very, very strongly against this Ruto government. But look at what they're doing. Look at what the government is responding to these guys. They've realized that jailing these guys is not since these guys are known, wakona jina, it's not going to do anything good. It's only going to make the government look bad. So detaining these people is not an option, especially the guys who are really influential. Of course, with the whole, like I say, the whole Jimmy Wanjigi thing is about intimidation. They're trying to either intimidate Jimmy Wanjigi, or Jimmy Wanjigi is on it, and it's a whole scripted event, which I believe the latter. Okay, but here it's what I'm trying to say is this, and follow me keenly. All the dissenting voices who are deemed to be the face of the movement, or anyone for that matter who spoke freely and confidently against this Ruto regime and the political class, have already, you can see they are either disinterested in removing Ruto, that's no longer the focus, or they are causing it up with the regime. You saw what happened with actually, let me start with this. Let me start with Nuru Okanga. Nuru Okanga is a funny guy. As I don't take him serious as when it comes to politics. Of course, he's one of those ODM, Raila Odinga, he, ha, 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 he, ho, ha, ha. Okay? Now, I don't know if you saw the Obina show where, even before that, Oscar Sudi, when he had his first whatever in Obina show, and he said he was trying to reach out to Nuru Okanga. So finally, and if you remember, Nuru Okanga was one of his biggest critics, okay? Nuru Okanga was not having Oscar Sudi. They actually had a not so nice exchange in the past. But guess what this regime now is doing? Is recruiting, getting these guys. I'm starting to Nuru Okanga, then I'll get to Gen Z, okay? I'm getting to Gen Z. Don't worry, I'm getting there. I know you might be like, why are you talking about Nuru Okanga? I'll tell you why I'm talking about Nuru Okanga. I'm telling you about Nuru Okanga because I'm showing you the method or this is the new way of the government dealing with dissenting voices. They're no longer, if you're a person of influence, if you're deemed to be a leader of some sort, if you have a voice, a huge following, the government will seek to co-opt you by paying you or just giving you a few goodies so that you can stop all this radical anti-remove Ruto must go movement. Okay, so I'll start with the Nuru Okanga, who sat down with none other than Oscar Sudi. These guys they didn't get along if you follow them, but all of a sudden they sat down and it was actually really, to me, it was cringeworthy. But just look at what was going on here. Let's start with Nuru Okanga. These are the first, because remember, before the Gen Z, it was the Jacaranda folks. Initially, Jacaranda guys, were the Okinawa Mosh and Nuru Okanga and the rest. These guys were not necessarily pro Raila or pro Ruto. These guys just met up and they spoke their mind. I remember the very first video by Nuru Okanga after Raila lost the elections. And he actually criticized Raila Odinga. He said, Raila, you can't be coming out every day telling us that you lost the elections. You need to steal the election if you have to this time. We can't be supporting you. And, and then, of course, probably Raila reached out to him and he changed tune and he was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. In fact, Raila the next day or 2 days after that went to Jacaranda grounds, to claim to listen to the people. All right. But anyway, the point I'm making is this. The Nuru Okangas, regardless of their clown show, their comedy acts at Jacaranda, they usually speak. Nuru Okanga is a voice in Kenya, even though he's, politically he might not have that influence, but he's a voice. And see how they deal with him. Look at him at Obina show with this guy.
Yeah.
So.
Nataka 1.3 million. Nitafungua account.
Niko nayo account.
Unipatie account. Nataka 1.3 million. Nitafungua account.
Niko nayo account.
Unipatie account. Nitakuwekea hiyo pesa.
Niko na account.
Sio sahihi. Sikuwekea sahihi nitakuwekea kata. Lakini kenye nimekutafutia fanya hivi. Enda tafuta nyumba hii ya affordable housing. Hii inajengwa hii sahihi. Tafuta nyumba bedroom ngapi?
3.
Na nataka uende Kibera ama Mukuru kwa Jenga ama somewhere. Tafuta nyumba bedroom ngapi?
3.
Hiyo mimi nitakununulia kama nimenunulia watoto. Na uanze sasa maisha uendelee.
Sasa hizi zijaisha.
Wow. Now we are talking. Now tumeanza kuongea sasa.
Ndio waje hii kusema 350 million.
Now we are talking. Unanunuliwa nyumba 3 bedroom. Self contained. Unanunuliwa toto.
Ujaze kila kitu hiyo.
Zinakuanga wapi?
Si utafute wewe sasa wewe.
Hapo unaonanga wanafungua nyumba kiko all over the country. Nyumba hata Kakamega ililonjiwa. Hakuna penye hiyo nyumba affordable housing haijelonjiwa. So tafuta nyumba. Mimi hiyo ndio nilifikiria niseme. Wacha nikusaidie.
Asante.
Ndio uelewe maneno ya pesa. Ndio usiwahi sema zingine 350 billion. Yani kitabu ukutanisha milioni moja mpaka ifike milioni 100.
Ni ngumu.
Unajua ni tani ngapi?
Sijui tani. Sijui tani ya hiyo pesa.
Yeah.
Let it sink in. Nuru unanunuliwa nyumba 3 bedroom.
Enda tafuta, nitakuja kesho kwa ofisi yangu. Kuna wakili pale. Atakuguide. Atakwambia iko option hii, iko option hii. Wende utafute kanyumba. Nikununulie. Hata itachukua mwaka moja. Kwa imeisha tutatafuta yenye iko tayari.
Asante.
Na nikupiga 1.3.
Mimi nitashukuru. Tashukuru. Hiyo. Hata penye
Utashukuru ama unashukuru? Is it
nimeshukuru,
present,
hata penye
continuous,
imetoka
ama is future tense?
Mungu arudishe. Yu mkono yenye napokea haibariki wangu, kini yenye natoa.
Okay, so we are basically seeing Oscar Sudi being bribed on live TV. Now you see that's the new way of how this government is dealing with dissenting voices. You saw it's not. Let me not use even the government. I'm using the political class. Let me just use that for a second. Nuru Okanga has been very, very vocal against the Ruto government. That's why I reiterate again. He had his exchange with Oscar Sudi. In fact, he called him, I don't know, all those epithets that you can come up with. Then Oscar Sudi, in his last show, he said he was looking for Nuru Okanga. Then they linked up, and here it is. He's telling him on camera, listen, go look for a house, a 3-bedroom house of your choosing, wherever, one of those affordable housing, whatever the case is. I'll pay for you cash, and I will give you, 1.3 million on top of that. Now, of course, there's a reason for that. He's not just doing that for the goodness of his heart, but he knows Nuru Okanga is someone who is not financially, not doing good financially. So if you pay him that money, give him a house, guess what? Don't expect Nuru Okanga to criticize the government. And I think this also has Raila's hand in it, because remember, Raila also did that to Nuru Okanga, bought Nuru Okanga a car, if I'm not wrong, some years back. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Something like that, okay? So this is a way of these criminal elites, or as we call them, the political class. They bribe these guys. Now, let's get to the so-called faces of Gen Zs, okay? What happened to Hanifa? What's Hanifa up to these days, okay? I know she was embroiled in all this money issue that people are changering to her so she can, pay the victims of the, police brutality, all of the stuff. I know she was really affected. I don't know. To be honest with you, I can't speak on it. I can't say that she actually alikula yo pesa or she actually used it for what it was given to her. I can't tell. I don't have any evidence. I don't know how much was actually given. I haven't done my due diligence on that, so I can't really speak on that. But what I know is she got into it with Francis Gaitho, and a couple of others, including Aoko, who were criticizing her, saying, "We ulikula hii pesa. Hiyo pesa ilienda wapi? Can you show the people how you use that? I don't know how many millions that she was given." Okay? So, but anyway, Hanifa, if you look at her, yes, she's claiming that, yeah, she's still with the movement. But as I mentioned, now the focus is not so much Ruto must go. Okay? The focus is more like, yes, let's go protest. Then there's Cairo, the young guy who, I don't know, he always posts videos of cars and all this stuff. He left the movement, I guess, what was the name that they were calling him? Dedan Kimaji or something, after that video of him pouring water on himself, pretending to be really. But anyway, after that 25th, I remember his tweets. All he was saying was, we've accomplished a lot. We accomplished what we did. We wanted to go to the parliament, and we got to the parliament. So he was out. He was like, all right, peace, I'm done. So he no longer talks about anything political. He's just posting about cars and whoever he's dating and all that teenage shit. Childish stuff. But anyway, he's no longer talking about politics and how we can go, take out Ruto. Boniface Mwangi, another face of the movement. What happened to him? Before the Nane, now he was deactivated his Twitter account. Oh, he's making videos about suicide and all this rubbish, basically, attention-seeking behavior. all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I fought for people. People are not appreciating what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. As if you are doing that for people to recognize you. Anyway, my point is the focus is no longer on Ruto must go. And I know Francis Gaito has always been on his behind talking about these guys have been paid. And indeed, I'm not saying they were paid, but remember that press conference they had, Hanifa, Boniface Mwangi, and somebody else, when they went to DCI because they were claiming the DCI were looking for them. Then they went to that DCI for 3 hours, came out, and the whole press conference was bizarre. Hanifa was smiling at the back. I mean, this whole thing just looked off, okay? After that, Boniface Mwangi is not talking about any Mandamano anymore. He's not even talking about anything, and he's not. He's not. And so, someone can come to a conclusion that this guy has been compromised. Of course, there are a lot of people who are saying Boniface Mwangi has been on this business for a long time. It's a whole con game. Yes, and mobilize people but it's getting paid. But anyway, so those three main faces of Gen Z are already not affected. They're not talking about removing Ruto any longer. One talks about dating girls and aeroplanes and cars. Hanifa is talking about I don't know what, but it has nothing to do with Ruto. Boniface Mwangi doesn't even care much about the movement anymore. He's living his life, talking about whatever. Okay. So those three main faces of Gen Z, the initial faces of Gen Z, are no longer talking about, the focus is no longer Ruto must go. Now, that's one. Then there was this young lady whom, kind of came up, and she was like, she made some noise, and she was kind of the young folks who are, it was brave of her, for somebody from Eldoret especially. She was speaking about, Mandamano in Eldoret, and she spoke about the Mandago saga, and she started, growing in fame a little bit. And I'll go for TV shows with Casmuel and others, how they're going to organize themselves. Now, I was shocked to see her posing in a picture with Martha Karua, among others, okay? Well, Martha Karua, let me just say that. And here it is. So here it is. Maurice Otieno Karibu Sana, like the video, share, comment. He's saying, I told you. You might be right. I don't know. The verdict is still out there. It's not out there. The jury is still out there. Let me say that. Okay, so here is a picture of them. Here is, I forgot what her name is. So can somebody tell me what her name is? I don't know. I know she's from Eldoret somewhere, Rift Valley. The lady that's posing with Martha Karua on the picture, the young lady, she was really vocal. She was making TikToks that was going viral about what's going on in Eldoret. And we remember the Mandamano that happened in Eldoret. Now we see her with Martha Karua. Okay? Sorry guys, I lost me for a while. Then there was there's our wonderful friend. What's her name? Casmuel with Mike Sonko. Casmuel with Mike Sonko right there. Now, I know some of you might be like, Casmuel meeting Mike Sonko is not a big deal. What's the problem? I mean, Sonko is just another Kenyan like you and me. And I would say, no, he's not. The problem here is this. Casmuel has been running around the mainstream media talking about how this whole political class there should be an overhaul of this political class. We should take them out, all of them. Not only Ruto, but the parliamentarians and the corrupt governors and all this and all that and that. Okay? And part of the rot, I mean, if you know Mike Sonko, you know the history, whether it's the, alleged drug involvement, the corruption in Nairobi, and a laundry list of, Mike Sonko's, so-called criminal activities, atrocities, if you will. He's not a character that I would like to take a picture with, especially if my message is I am anti-corruption. I want to bring in a new system that will revolutionize how we govern ourselves. Those are not the people that I want to take a selfie with. I don't care if it's my friend. We need not to be seen together. But apparently he was with Mike Sonko. Okay, he took a picture. He went to visit him and all that. Right? We know about that. Not only that, Casmuel was also seen with what's her face? Not Omanga. What's her name? This lady right here, ODM. She's something. ODM. Is it minority leader or something? The current minority leader. Oh, sorry guys. Watch any picture. Right. Let me see the picture here. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Navigator. Make sure you like and subscribe. Navigator, nice seeing you. You're right. Yep. Then there's this lady here. I forgot her name. What's the name of this lady? I forgot her name. The one that usually goes after Ichungwa. I forgot her name. Somebody remind me on the comment. So here, Casmuel. So Casmuel is making his rounds, meeting all these politicians, the current politicians. Again, you can come here and argue that there's nothing wrong with Casmuel meeting politicians. There's nothing wrong with Casmuel meeting Mike Sonko. There's nothing wrong with that. He has the right to associate. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong? Shida iko wapi? But again, that's why I kept on telling you guys that this Casmuel guy, even though he's saying the nice things, Milio Diambos. Yes, Milio Diambo. Yes. Thank you very much, Navigator 1, Milio Diambo. Milio Diambo, I don't have much information on her as far as if she's a corrupt character, but here's my thing, though. Milio Diambo is part of ODM. ODM is a notoriously corrupt so-called political party. Okay? We know that. It's not only ODM. I mean, we can go. Maurice Otieno is saying Jai Komingi. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is this. You cannot say that you are a revolutionary and you want to get rid of these politicians who are holding Kenya back through their corrupt deals and them doing whatever, rubber stamping everything that this President Ruto is doing. Then we see you shake hands, mingling with them as if everything is okay. Yeah, she's a clown and a psychopath. Absolutely. So you see what I'm saying? And like I said, Casmuel speaks he says the right things. He's eloquent, well dressed. Looks like he has his head above his shoulders. But again, we have to question what really is his motive. Okay? And I will repeat, there's nothing wrong with running for public office. But to me, from an outsider looking in, it appears that Casmuel is more interested in getting a political position rather than advancing the real cause of the Kenyan people. He's using this movement and the cause, okay, to further his own ambition. You see what I'm saying? That's what I suspect. Because again, you cannot go to this public mainstream media and talk about, we want to remove Ruto. The legislative body is part of Ruto's Ninio. They are rubber stamping everything Ruto is doing. okay, and that we need to overhaul the whole system, remove these politicians, legislative body, the president and his entire cabinet, and whatever the case, the whole executive body. Then I see you go rub shoulders with Millie Odhiambo, Hassan Joho. Who's going to be next? Ruto? Are you going to shake with Gachagua? And again, he said it. He wants to, in the future, he wants to run for office, which is okay. But to me, it's more, it appears that the perception is he cares much about getting a political position than he does care about the root cause of what is this movement was about. And that's regardless of the nice things he's saying. We agree on whatever he's saying, the ails that is ailing the young people, and then that's what I'm saying. That's how it appears. And to me, like I said, what kind of started cemented my suspicion of Kasmuel is when he went to Spice FM and started mentioning that anyone cannot just make a poster saying that there's a Mandamano tomorrow. They have to submit to the collective. And even Eric asked him, why should they? And you are saying that as who? Who are you? What is your position? Last time we checked, the Gen Z movement is leaderless, tribeless, and partyless. So why are you telling somebody they cannot go to Mandamano? They have to come check with you, and you have to check if their ideas is aligned with yours. Why? Who are you? See what I'm saying? So he's asserting himself as the leader of this Gen Z. Basically, that's what it is. He's asserting himself as the leader of Gen Z. And like I said, he mentioned in an interview where he's mentioned that it is his dream. It is one of his goals is to have a political position, run for public office. Because in his argument, he says it's easier to fight when you're in the system rather than if you're out of the system, which I totally disagree. Okay? So this guy, Tucha Adams is saying, Kasmuel is just another corrupt upcoming leader. I suspect him. I suspect him to be not with really, to be somebody who is not. I won't say he's corrupt because I don't have evidence of any kind of corruption of his corrupt deals, but I would say his moves are suspicious, okay? His real intentions are suspicious. That's what I'm saying. You know, him asserting himself as the leader of Gen Z, while the whole point of having Gen Z was being partyless, tribeless, and leaderless. But somehow anasema sasa watu huwezi kwenda kumaandamano. Now, and even this maandamano, like we said this, I think Miguna said it, and a lot of people said it in the Twitter sphere, okay? In order to remove Ruto, which was the focus, we went from finance bill, reject finance bill 2024, now it's focused on Ruto must go. And if we really want to remove Ruto, because we have to remove the rot from the head, okay? The head of the body, which is rotten, okay? If we want to remove Ruto through a popular revolution, through protesting, as we plan the Bangladeshi way, you cannot have one maandamano per month. You cannot have that. That's something that's not sustainable. You cannot remove Ruto through that. If you want to remove Ruto, it has to be sustained pressure. So kama maandamano ni Monday, watu waende hapo Monday na wakae 6 weeks or whatever weeks, tukae hapo mpaka Ruto atoke. I think that was the plan of 99. Of course, we later on came to, we saw what happened in 99. It wasn't successful, but which is okay. Sometimes it doesn't take one shot for you to succeed. But it has to be sustained pressure. Hii mambo ati okay, 99, it wasn't successful, then Gen Z unarudi tena on 99. It's not going to succeed because Ruto has so much time to infiltrate the organization or whatever the case is and disrupt everything and to plan and do all that stuff. Let me read Navigator what he's saying here. Navigator is saying, that Samuel skyrocketed from the police into the nation house. That cowardice act can't be the face of the revolution. He doesn't have the guts. Perhaps he is looking for food for his guts. That's possibility. And again, in my previous lives, in my previous videos, I ask, of all these leaders, so-called faces of Gen Zs, almost all of them were detained, except Kasmuel. He has never been detained by the police. Hajawahi kuwa abducted by the DCI. But you'll see him on the mainstream media. He keeps on having access to the mainstream media, talking his stuff. Okay? How come? So he probably knows somebody, and you can obviously see he's meeting Sonko, he's meeting whatever that name is, Milio Diambo, meeting everyone. That's why I'm saying I do not trust this guy. And once these young folks have started rubbing shoulders with this same criminal elites or political class, hopefully, the Gen Zs maintain that tribeless, partyless, leaderless. So hao wakienda kama wakina Osama na sijui nani ambao walichujwa, hopefully the movement can still go on. Right? So to me, but anyway, the theme is, I just want you to think about it. All the people who were the influential people who had a voice, who are speaking against Ruto's regime, have now seemingly been compromised. And this government has done that in such pattern. They incorporated, bought off these guys. That's why I started with Nuru Okanga. Nuru Okanga was the face of Jacaranda. Of course, Jacaranda has a lot of people in there. Omosh Jakababa and I don't know what, Kimbi, all these people. But there was nobody who had a bigger voice than Nuru Okanga. That's why Raila Odinga bought him a car before. And now you see Obina show, Oscar Sudi went ahead and told him, hey, listen, pick a house, 3-bedroom. I'll pay for you and I'll give you 1.3 million. Okay? On national TV, on national platform. A huge platform as Obina. Okay? So don't expect Nuru Okanga going forward to criticize this government. Okay? Number 2, I ask you, of all these Gen Zs, the faces of Gen Zs, all of them, look at them. I mentioned Cairo, who was the young guy, whatever. He's no longer talking about politics anymore. He's out. 2, I mentioned Hanifa. Hanifa is not pursuing the whole Ruto must go theme. He's wrapped up in so much. He's talking about, yes, he's still talking about all this government, that, give him the, but it's no longer, the focus is no longer Ruto must go. Then I talk about Boniface Mwangi. You no longer hear from Boniface Mwangi. He's talking about, I don't know, suicide and all this nonsense. He's no longer, the focus is no longer Ruto must go. Then I went to Kasmuel. Kasmuel is no longer talking about Ruto must go. Kasmuel, the last time I heard from Ninio, from him on Spice FM, he was talking about, oh yeah, we should go to the Bunge la Wananchi and listen to the people's voices. We are going to the mashinani. We are trying to get IDs. And you are not going to remove Ruto through that. I'm sorry. And I'm not belittling what he's doing or what he's advocating for, the whole ID thing and the whole going to the mashinani and organizing with all these pressure groups. That's fine. But you're not going to remove Ruto from office through that. The only way to remove Ruto is through popular, peaceful protest. The Bangladeshi way, the same way the Tahrir Square, the same way Sudanese removed al-Bashir. But Ruto was so threatened after June 25th. Now he has went and compromised everybody. And now Kasmuel is not talking about focus is Ruto must go. He's talking about 2027, or let's go to organize in the communities. Let's start by in Mashinani Uko. And now he's talking about, you cannot just post anything. You have to report to the collective, or you have to report to the collective, which means they're gatekeeping the process. He wants to own that maandamano. Same thing Raila Odinga used to do. Ati yao ndio mpaka wapea sahihi, wapati approval, ndio uende maandamano. That's why we ask, who is this Kasmuel? Who is he to say that? And now we can see him rubbing shoulders with Mike Sonko, Millie Odhiambo, and others. Navigator 1 says, rumors has it that he comes from Migori and the dad is James Orengo, who had a concubine in Migori town. It is said that of Orengo's son, Kasmuel is the only one following in his dad's footsteps. No wonder. I don't know where he comes from. I thought he was, I don't know. I really don't know anything about him as far as where he comes from. People are saying different things. Mara wanasema sijui ni, I thought he was a Kisi or something. I don't know. I have no idea about him. I'm just going by what he's saying. And like I said, all his action does not point at what this movement was originally about. Now it has morphed. It's slowly morphing into something, civil education. Let's meet up people in the Mashinani, which is fine. It sounds cute. But the focus has stopped being, let's organize and meet up in the streets and let's go protest in front of State House until Ruto leaves. That's no longer the focus. The focus is all about something else. And it's not a coincidence. Then I mentioned Jimmy Wanjigi, who confessed to being the financier of this whole movement. And now you see alipelekwa ndani, and with all these shenanigans that's going on with him, you know what? No. Okay? No wonder the media cover up and the police protection. Yeah. So you see, so the government is neutralizing the movement by using the face of these guys to kumaliza hii movement, okay? On other news, very quickly. Karibu WS Baraka. Umechelewa kidogo lakini it's okay. I'll be here for we'll see. Wanjigi. What's the face? Gladys Wanga, who was championed as the hardworking #1 governor of Homa Bay, bringing development, bringing investors to invest in Migori. Well, Gladys Wanga is said to have, done something that's amazing. Not in a complimentary way, but amazing in such a way that kind of shocked a lot of people. So the headlines there is, Governor Wanga tears down a factory to build office block. Homa Bay County has demolished a multi-million shilling factory that was almost complete to pave way for construction of governor's office block. Yeah, that's Gladys Wanga for you. That is Gladys Wanga. I think she was rated as #1 or something, as whatever. And this is not the first time that I had some stuff about Gladys Wanga. I think there was a bishop who was interviewed and said, there was 300 million that was lost, that Gladys Wanga misappropriated, and that, nepotism that's happening in Homa Bay County. I don't know, she employed her brother or something like that. There's so much going on. And Navigator 1 is saying, the forest is the same, but the monkeys have changed. Aye. Gladys Wanga. Yeah, I guess the forest has changed. I mean, the forest is the same. The monkeys are different. So yeah, we see that the very movement that was looked at as the hope that can actually change things, change the forest, so to speak. It seems like it's been, dealt with. It's been dealt with. So let's see. But Mandamano is on the next Tuesday, I think. Yes, 27th. So we'll see. So here is Jimmy Wanjigi. Speaking of Jimmy Wanjigi, let's just play Jimmy Wanjigi. To me, the whole thing is so bizarre. Like, I don't know what these guys are up to. It doesn't seem. I dare say it looks scripted to me. Look. All right.
I am not going to speak for very long. I want to be very clear. First, let me thank God for bringing us this far. You can see my family here. We have been through a lot of trauma. I want to thank them for standing with me during the last 2 or 3 weeks of what you call crooked Ruto's anarchy. Crooked Ruto's anarchy. And I want to address William Samoei Ruto here. The courts today have upheld the constitution of this country. And you seem to be trying to live in an era that has long passed. William Ruto, why do you fear me? If you fear me, be a man, come and deal with me properly, kiwanjani ya siasa, not in my home, terrorizing my family, and not in these courts with trumped up charges. You are afraid that we are redefining the politics of this nation. We are moving away from a myopic tribe and region, your useless kutenga and lies. We have now moved to the realm of the truth and issue-oriented politics, based primarily today on the economy of Kenya. Debate me on the economy. Don't try and create criminality in your muck. I'm not going to join your pigsty. It is a pigsty. William Ruto, know today I am coming for you because I believe Ruto must go. Asante sana.
Okay, so he clearly says Ruto must go. Never misses an opportunity to say a word or two. I mean, again, here's Jimmy Wanjigi when he was in court or somewhere. Let's take a look at this. Look at this video for somebody who's coming from jail or is in jail or is in court. Here it is. I don't know. He's just too happy. Too happy. If I was, listen, I've been in court. Ukienda kotini, I mean, we saw Aoko when she was, that's the difference. This is Jimmy Wanjigi. he was smiling, you know. I mean, his smiling was like he was in a wedding. I mean, what is going on? I don't know. To me, if I'm in court, that's the last thing I want to do. There's no time to smile. I mean, we can compare that with Aoko when Aoko was in court. She was not smiling. Not. Absolutely not. Here's the comparison. Here. This is Aoko. You see the difference? When you're on court na umewachiliwa umetoka kwa jela, as long as you're still within thank you. I'm coming to that comment, Gypsy. His family is spared. His house staked before breaking in. He tells the police to hush up. All of this is to control Maandamano by appearing opposite Ruto. He is friends with Ruto administration and Raila. WS Banka is on some Banka. Makofi kwa Banka. Makofi alama mbili. Remember sanaa ya Kiswahili or something. Alama 10 juu ya 10 kwa WS Banka. This is to create, in fact, I think this is to create a perception that the movement is dead. Banka. Anangalianga ndani. No wonder his name is Banka. W. Banka, that's a good comment. Again, I'll read it again. Gypsy naingia huko kwako pia. His family is spared. His house staked before breaking in. Okay, breaking in quotes. He tells the police to hush up. All of this is to control Maandamano by appearing opposite Ruto. He is friends with Ruto admin and Raila. For those of you who are doubting that he's friends with Ruto, he said it. He was involved. He gave money and was part of the whole creating of this Uhuru Ruto regime. They've known each other. These are people who know each other. Ruto, Raila, Jimmy Wanjigi. This is a freaking show. If you look at the family members, they don't look stressed. His wife is smiling. Look, you saw how Jimmy Wanjigi was smiling. Compare that with Aoko. Aoko had no time to smile. She knows how serious and brutal this regime is. So she has no time to laugh. Lakini Jimmy anatoka huko na kifua anasema, face me man to man. I'm coming for you. Who tells the president that in Africa? Nani anaambianga president wa wewe usijaribu. In Africa you don't come there ati umetoa kifua ati I'm coming for. Unawazimu. Hata kama uko na hiyo 10 million. It doesn't matter how much, it doesn't matter how billions you have. In Africa uambii president that is I'm coming for you. Na kuna all instruments of power. We! Utaona ile kitu hujaona. Gypsy. Kenyan court, huh? Jimmy with his 10 million bail and the guy can afford to laugh. It's comical. Abso-freaking-lutely. Milioni 10 imekwa bail. Mi nitoe ni milioni, ndugu zangu, nitoe milioni 10 for bail, alafu naniona na check hapo kwa I will not be laughing with anyone. Nitakuwa na macho wengine hata ukiniona. I will have no time to talk to the ninio press. Na nikiongea kwa press nasema hiyo milioni 10 mnirudishie immediately. I think this is choreographed kidnapping and staged government mistreatment to conceal some grave issues going on in the country. Absolutely. Like I said, another angle that we can look at it is this. This whole Gen Z movement, what the government and the media is complicit in this. They are portraying this perception that Gen Z has been infiltrated by politicians. Let me repeat. Tibim, tabam. Oh, Shaba, this is so powerful. This is to create the perception narrative that the Gen Z have been hijacked by politicians. Remember, Ruto, even in his second after the second Mandamano, he started saying that the Gen Z movement was peaceful, but some politicians have infiltrated it and brought in goons. So, by showing the picture of that young lady from Eldoret meeting Martha Karua, by showing Casmuel meeting all these different politicians, Mike Sonko and Millie Odhiambo, they are portraying subliminal message in your subconscious, telling you that Gen Z pia wameingia katika the political class. They are part of the politicians. They are no longer authentic and organic. Wameingia. And then the whole choreographed arrest of Jimmy Wanjigi is designed to send a message to the population that Jimmy Wanjigi, who is the financier of this Gen Z movement, is being dealt with by the government. So this thing will not go on because the financier amefinywa. Na wale vijana ambao walikuwa naongea the faces of this Gen Z, ndio hao tunaona so wameshikana na Millie Odhiambo, wameshikana na Mike Sonko, wameshikana na Martha Karua, wameshikana na nini. So they are no longer authentic, wamekuwa infiltrated. That is the perception that this government wants to put in the universe. Hapo nje ndio muone hivyo. And that's why Obina, having thousands of followers, an influential podcaster, hosted Nuru Okanga, who is a well-known anti-Ruto person, accepting 1.3 million from Oscar Sudi, who is Ruto's right-hand man, and also Oscar Sudi buying him a 3-bedroom of his choice, wherever he wants. You see what's happening? Nilikwambia hapa tunaangalia mambo ya ndani. Tuna mambo ya ndani. Si ya juju hapa. All these politicians are like long lost school friends. They are treating the Kenyans as backwards and thick. Yes. Yes. Navigator 1, he is part of the contributors of the 47 billion used in Jubilee's campaign in 2013. Yes. He said that in his interview, one of the interviews, whatever. Gypsy Corner. It is a tactical distraction. People are not talking about the government, but talking about Jimmy and the poor woman being impeached in Meru. I haven't even touched on that. That's Wamuchomba. Is it not Wamuchomba? I forgot her name. Yeah, the Meru impeachment. She's been impeached. The last time I checked, I think the court is suspended that impeachment for whatever reason. I don't know. I'll talk about that in the evening. Usiku, baadaye, my second live. But you see what's going on over here? Munaona mchezo wa town? It is designed kuwavunja moyo. It is designed kufanya nini? Kuwavunja moyo. Do you remember that picture of Raila Odinga and Museveni and Ruto? That picture was released by the Neo, by the media. Of course, Raila and Ruto wanted it to be released. It was to gauge the reaction of the Kenyan people, especially the opposition, the Azimio folks, how they were going to react by Ruto, Museveni, and Raila meeting. Walikuwa nataka kupima weather vile mtareact. Pima. Because remember, there are so many meetings that these leaders meet ambao hatuonangi hiyo picha, haipigwangi pichwa. Unakumbuka vile nani alituambia ati Maina Njenga alituambia ati nani? Raila, Ruto, Suluhu, Hassan Joho, Junet walikutana Mombasa usiku na Obasanjo when they initially panga hiyo mambo ya AU na hii mambo ya kujoin government. Walikutana usiku Mombasa. Suluhu was there too. But there was no picture, there was no media Nino report, but it happened. So when they allow pictures to be released to the media of this kind, it is to achieve a certain message, a certain goal. Iko na lengo. Kasum alikukutana na nanio na Millie Odhiambo. Kasum alikukutana na huyu Mike Sonko. Na ule mwanamke, the young lady meeting Martha Karua. It is to send a specific message to the people. Jimmy Wanjigi na hii drama yake sijui ameshikwa polisi sijui nini na pelekwa na akatoa bilioni na akapelekwa kwa. It is to send a specific message. Why can't they just go wangeshika Jimmy Wanjigi waninio and waseme kamera isingia hapa nini? You see what I'm saying? If it was angalia vile Awoko did we see how Awoko alishikwa? Tuliona video ya Awoko vile alikuwa kwa ninio kwa koti. Ulimwona? Did you see Awoko smiling? The poor girl was crying because she understood that wale watu ambayo wako na power, wakina Raila, wakina Ruto, na hao wengine weo ambao wako huko juu, wamemkasirikia, na ndio hao waliambia DCI waende wakamshika, na hatukuona video. Akapelekwa jela, hatujui nini walimfanyia nini huko kwa jela. Ndio maana vile tulimwona kotini, the poor Awoko was in tears because she understood that even her life might be in danger. So hii Jimmy Wanjigi kutoka na anacheka hapo na hug, it's always a family, alafu anaambia rais ati anakukujia tukutane kama madume, Mchezo wa town. Mchezo wa nini? Mchezo wa town. Na it's always, you're violating my family, sijui my wife was sijui nini. Ukiana bibi yake smiling, amemshika hivi sijui nini, watoto wake baba Wanjigi sijui nini. The son was talking about Wi-Fi. What is going on? But these people are great friends. Gen Z need new faces. Wachane na Kasumwe na au wengine weo. New faces, I'm telling you. Prophecy here, I'm telling you. Gen Z movement in Kenya need new faces. In fact, I would rather it has ikuwe faceless. I'll add one. Gen Z should be faceless, partyless, tribeless, and leaderless. Muongeze faceless kwa hiyo less yenu. Gen Z should be what? Tribeless, leaderless, partyless, and faceless. Hakuna ati mtu anaenda kwa mainstream media anatoa anazo sijui. No. Everything ifanywe kwa mtandao. Leo huyu anasema hivi, yule mwingine anasema hivi, yule mwingine, but the message is the same. Ruto must go. Taya! Wacha nirudie. Hamkunisikia vizuri. Hamkunisikia vizuri. Can you like this video? Hebu like hapa mara moja na msubscribe. Like na msubscribe. Support the channel. Support the channel. Support this channel. Yes, Traore anakumbuka na kuwatunza watu kwanza, si yeye mwenyewe. WS Banka wewe. Leo sijui WS Banka alikuwa na ndoto na Sankara. Thomas Sankara aliongea na WS Banka leo. Hii si kawaida. On point. Traore anakumbuka na kuwatunza watu kwanza, si yeye mwenyewe. For those of you who don't understand Swahili, Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso puts the people first. He protects the people. He takes care of their needs. He doesn't put himself first. That's why when he got into power, he never increased his salary. But he increased the salary of the civil servants, the doctors, the teachers, all these people. You see what I'm saying? Hiyo ndio leadership. Kassim anaingia hapo, from the way he dresses, you can tell he wants to stand out. He's been promoted. He's a celebrity, as SW Banka said. Unamwona, he doesn't see anything wrong meeting Sonko. We have a good friend here called Hamza Ahmed, anasema acha ujinga, Ruto ni sisi, tulimchagua haendi mahali, enda ukufie huko fala hii. Okay. Asante Hamza kwa maoni yako. Ni sawa ulimchagua. I don't doubt it. I always maintain. Even watu wengi walinipiga nikisema Ruto won fair and square. I said that. I never thought he aliiba. But I never voted for him. I never voted for Raila. I didn't vote. But what I'm saying is this. Ruto alituruka sote kama wa Kenya. Whether you voted for him or you didn't vote for him. He's heading to a bad place. And we Kenyans have decided Ruto must go. So in the process of thinking how we can remove him, because he has violated the constitution and is destroying the economy. And he doesn't care about the rule of law. He's violating our rights and so forth, so forth. That's why Hamza Ahmed. So sio ujinga. But thank you for your comment. Like the channel, like it and subscribe. Musingoje. Support the channel. Muko hapo. Kuna super chat, unaweza kuwa member, unaweza kufanya vitu vingi. Kenya Revolutionary. Nimesema leo, kutokea leo, kama Gen Z mnanisikia, add one more thing. Gen Z should be faceless. Tuelewane. Gen Z is tribeless, leaderless, partyless. The third less is faceless. Hakuna mtu anaenda kwa media anasema tufanye hivi kama akina Kasmuel. Tukue faceless. Kama ni kucommunicate, tuna communicate kwa Twitter na Facebook na TikTok. Tunasema tukutane hivi vile tulikuwa tunafanya mwanzoni. Kwani tulikuwa tukutana how are we communicating in the first place? Si tulikuwa tukakutana kwa internet tunasema tukutane hapo State House. Turudi faceless. Hii mambo ya watu wanaingia na koti yao wanajifanya ati sasa hao ndio wenyewe, ati you have to submit to the collective. Collective gani? Collective madau. We have to be faceless, tribeless, leaderless and partyless. Bwana sifiwe. Ndio maana nawaambia. Banker, don't pay attention to that, Hamza. Do not usijali na jamaa. Don't worry about him. Martin SK anasema, guys, why are you watching this fool's content and yet he is the one letting us down for not voting? That's a good point. Let me educate you, Martin. No, what did I educate? Martin, you know, some people need help. If I choose to not vote, that is a way of protest. That is a form of protesting, absconding. I'll give you an example. Remember when 2007, when Raila Odinga decided not to, urged people not to go and vote and participate in the voting session? That was a way of protesting against the corrupt IBC that was taking place there. That in as example. So me deciding not to vote for either Raila or Ruto is me saying these people are corrupt and nothing good will come out of Raila and Ruto. You understand, Martin? Thank you very much for your comments. Like, share, subscribe, and be part of the community. I hope you learned something today. Thank you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, the election are rigged as the video above shows. Okay? We can have that discussion. But ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it's been 1 hour. Tukutane evening. But please, 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 do not forget, like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, share, tell your friends, okay? Na tukutane baadaye. Ama namna gani? Tukutane 12:30. I might come in a little bit early, but I'll be again, tarudi. So put your notification on, ndio nikiingia live unapata hiyo message. Pa! Rebel ako hapa. So hopefully you learned something, Mr. MK and Hamza, okay? Kuingia hapa na kutroll na kuita watu mjinga, it's not going to help you. Substantiate what you're saying. Ukitaka kuniita mjinga, can you tell why you think I'm mjinga? Mimi nimekupatia reason why I did not vote for Raila or Ruto. Get it? All right. Anyway, guys, I have to leave. It's been an hour. Thank you so much for joining for this morning session. Let me read this WS Banker before I go. Marekani inafanya mambo sawa. Hakuna wenu anayeonekana kuelewa kinachoendelea. At Martin SK Hamza Ahmed. Banka usijali au mandugu zetu wako na hasira. But like I say, the Gen Z should be faceless, tribeless, partyless, and leaderless, okay? That's the best way to go forward. Turudi vile tulianza ninio. Watu wana communicate kwa mtandao, alafu tunakutana kwa ninio. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys later. Let me thank everyone. WS Banker, Gypsy Corner, Martin SK, Hamza Ahmed, nani mwingine? Navigator 1 nilikuwa na pia. Thank you so much. Thank you. WS Banker kama kawaida. Nani mwingine? Tucha Adams pia wewe pia. Thank you so much. Morris Otieno pia nilikuwa na Kabuda. You are the first one to know. Thank you so much. Clean Black Sneakers. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much. Tuonane let's meet up in the evening. Sawa? Aya. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and if you want to be part of this channel, please, you know what to do. Unaweza kwenda hapo uweke ma coins kadhaa, unaweza ni coins kadhaa tu hapo naweka hivyo alafu na kwa I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings.